Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to the number one Group of Five college football show in the world. This is the Group of Five guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. We need you to hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. On this episode, we're going to talk about if the college football playoff lasts too long. Do people lose interest? We're going to talk about the cost to just be a fan, how much it costs to go to games and support your program. And of course, we cannot have a show without talking about slimy NIL agents. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of Five.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the Group of Five programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this, and
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of Five because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
Well, we had a good one last night, didn't we, Jeff?
Sure was.
A good CFP. Great game, man. I tell you, it's funny, you have the blowouts, but neither of those teams make the playoff if you don't go to 12. So I think, and not to say that nobody else deserved to be there or had a chance or whatever, but I think it does it does prove the best four. It proves it. It puts the best four against the best 12, and it lets them come out on top. And everybody's going to say, hey, there's not 12 good enough teams. Of course not. There never is. Are the Broncos going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. They're in the playoffs, and somebody's going to have to prove it that they can't win the Super Bowl.
And you know what?
But
they have a chance. And that's all.
They got a shot.
That's all we've ever wanted. And again, I don't know why people are going to complain about more football. I just because the teams you want aren't in. Well, I mean, every year I'm sure there are teams in every single playoff in every single sport, whether you follow it, if you're into it, that you're like, oh, they don't deserve to be here. And then every once in a while, every maybe 10 years or so, there'll just be one team that makes a run that shouldn't have been there. They might not win it all. Maybe they get to the championship game. So gotta let these games play out. It was a good one last night. I gotta say, I've had my fair share of Notre Dame hate over the years.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Riley Leonard and Marcus Freeman, they make me want to root for them, just based off of their responses in pregame and postgame, and so shout out to them for getting it done. And I think that game validates a little bit the Fiesta Bowl. And, I know Boise lost, but Boise went toe to toe. Other than the last 6-7 minutes, you had a 1-score game for a lot of it and 2 missed field goals away from being down by 4 with 6 minutes to go. So, and you saw that Penn State defensive front wreak havoc against one of the top teams in the country.
And Notre Dame is, that's O-line you. You want to play O-line in the NFL, you go to Notre Dame. And Penn State, I know Abdul Carter was he wasn't super effective. He got hurt in the Boise State game, but boy, every play. Honestly, they could have called a holding every pass play on him.
Oh yeah.
But they got, I mean, that linebacker 41, 33, I don't know all their names, but man, they crushed them, and they were putting pressure without bringing pressure. 3-man rush, 4-man rush, and they were just eating up Notre Dame. But I think I think not only does it echo or I'm sorry, validate Boise State, I think you look at Notre Dame's success, and now you go back and you look at Army and their season, you think, man, this was a 11-1 team, and the only team they lost to was that team. Well, maybe getting beat by a ton of points, maybe that wouldn't so bad. I mean, you're looking at Penn State and Notre Dame. There's no doubt in my mind are two of the best 4 teams in the country. No doubt in my mind after watching this playoff. And I think, yeah, I absolutely think it validates. And I definitely echo. I'll tell you, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame just used to be so unlikable. You got like Lou Holtz, terribly unlikable. And then you go, most of our life, Brian Kelly, one of the most unlikable guys in the sport. There's Marcus Freeman, it helps. He's young. He's cool. He's good looking. You know what I mean? It helps that. But also, they just, it's, and I want to say one other thing. What a wild time, Jeff. I told you last week, there's nobody I dislike more than the University of Tennessee. But beyond Tennessee, for me, my whole life, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and here I am in the year of our Lord 2025, rooting for both of them because of what ESPN has done with the SEC and things of that nature.
Yeah. So
what a wild time.
Well, I got 2 things for you. So, you mentioned Marcus Freeman being good looking. So the last game Notre Dame played in, we were watching, and Scarlett was watching, and Dom was watching, my oldest. Scarlett makes a comment about Marcus Freeman being handsome. And the look that he gave her was like,
Dominic?
Yeah, Dom was just like, so then last night the game comes on, and they show Marcus Freeman, and Dom goes, Mom, there's the guy you think is handsome. So got a boy, Dom. Put it all down for your old man, right?
That's great.
And then I do want to play this. I pulled this clip from the post game. You mentioned ESPN, and part of the reason why ESPN has had, I think, just such a drop off of fandom and views and all these things is because they got away from really covering sports, and they're just shoving all this stuff down your throat. And right after the game, they're interviewing, at the little ceremony, Marcus Freeman. I want to play this and we can talk about it.
Because you are the first black head coach to go to a national championship game in college football.
Congratulations.
Just hearing that response alone, how much does this mean to you?
I've said this before. I don't ever want to take attention away from the team. It is an honor, and I hope all coaches, minorities, black, Asian, white, it doesn't matter, great people continue to get opportunities to lead young men like this. But this ain't about me, this is about us. And we're gonna celebrate what we've done because it's something special.
I love that. I absolutely love that for so many different reasons, because it's like they're putting him on the spot, number one, about, being the first black minority coach in the championship game, which is awesome, which is great. I'm not taking anything away from that. Like, his response is like, it's about us. It's always been about us. And this gives me like a little bit of hope that we have young, like dynamic head coaches. You're seeing this throughout the country that really seem to care about the student athlete, the individual.
Yeah.
And that's why these guys are having success. Like, that type of mentality, that type of care. I don't care if it's in work. I don't care if it's in sports, whatever it is, friendship, like that is infectious. You want to be around people like that. And for him to like just be conscious in that moment was, to me, just a testament to his character, and just putting it back on the guys, being in the moment, I thought was just special. And again, it just makes me want to root for them. And I've been one of Notre Dame's, and not really the players or anything. It's just more of been the mantra and the treatment that they get. But I mean, they didn't want Notre Dame in it either. Like you're seeing, they are putting on full display. The media is who they want, what brands they want. So shout out to Marcus Freeman and their team for getting it done.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you want to root for him, and you'd certainly want to play for him. And his guys are definitely playing for him. One thing I wanted to talk about too, because me and you talked on the phone yesterday about this, is I love college football. In the world, I'll watch every game that I possibly can. I think with this CF, it's too long. The season's too long. Maybe it's because Boise State lost and I no longer had any kind of dog in the fight, but I kind of lost interest there. I kind of lost interest in. It seemed like it had been forever since we had any kind of college football, and I wasn't like super excited about the games. I almost forgot that there was games this week, and it doesn't help that they're on Thursday and Friday. But I don't know. Again, I hate to go back to my point that I made over a year ago now, but if you shorten the season just a little bit, bump it up a week or two, you have rivalry weekend the week before Thanksgiving, you have conference championship games the week of Thanksgiving, and then you start the playoff right afterwards, and you can play a national championship on New Year's, and then you can allow the NFL to do what the NFL is doing and put games on every night of the playoff games on every night of the week on every TV network and cable provider there is. But I don't know, maybe that's just me.
No, I think you're spot on. And when you look at the timetable, like it's doable. We need leadership, man. We've talked so much about leadership over the last couple months, whether it's at a university, athletic department, a coach, like leadership matters. And there's no leadership in the NCAA right now. Like in just the global kind of umbrella of college football specifically, but college athletics as a whole. And somebody can figure this out. I know you need to try and somewhat have it mirror the academic calendar, because I do think that that's important. But what's going to happen now is they're going to play the national championship game, and then most schools go back around the January 20th. So these kids have if you don't finish shortly after New Year's, they're not going to get any break. They're going to roll right into the next semester. It's going to cause issues again with the portal, because the portal window closes, I think, the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just running into all these issues. But yeah, I mean, this is almost if you're talking just weeks of the college football season, you're getting close to like 17, 18 weeks. That's like an NFL season. I know you got like the long layoff, which we talked about that, which I'm not a fan of. As a player, it's hard to stay engaged, and it is what it is. Somebody's got to take control. Somebody has to figure out what's best and collectively talk to everybody, be in power, and make a decision, because what's going on right now it's not working for, I would say, the vast majority of college football programs.
Well, and then Jeff, if one of the knocks on bowl season has been guys want to try to get ready for the NFL, they want to opt out. Well, if you make it to the national championship, if you're a Notre Dame guy, if you're Riley Leonard's going to the Senior Bowl. Riley Leonard's got a national championship game a week before the Senior Bowl. So now his season is now going to go another week straight. And I mean, as a quarterback, I realize from a physical standpoint, he's probably not going to get beat up down at the Senior Bowl, but there's going to be Notre Dame offensive lineman down there.
Into it.
What's that?
I mean, he's sure as hell going to be beat
up.
He's
going to be
he has been
beat
running,
up after last night.
Yeah, he's been running all over the field and getting smacked. So, I doubt he honestly even participates much.
Yeah.
He'll do all the interviews and stuff. But damn.
Which might be why he's going down there.
Yeah, but he's not going to get much of a break, at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't again, there's no reason it can't be done. They all want everybody, that's their new pitch, is they want the national championship to be the Rose Bowl every year. Well, Rose Bowl's played on New Year's, last I checked. So if you want that to happen, Like, make it happen. It's very, very doable. And then the other part of this, Jeff, is you're asking fans to take up over a quarter of the year. I mean, you're asking fans, week 0 is in August. Why they got to do week 0? I don't know. Just make that week 1. I don't understand it. But you got week 0 in August. You got to go August, September, October, November, December, into January. That's 6 months.
It's long.
You're asking 6 months of the fans to stay engaged, and then everybody's getting all worked up because there's empty seats in the playoff games. And it's like, well, you know how much it costs? Like, you know how much time off you got to take? Put a game on a Thursday, and you just had holidays, so you just took all your PTO. Now you're going to have the next week. Now you got another game you want people to travel to and pay for tickets and pay for hotels and pay for flights. I mean, it's, to me, I've gotten up here before and I've said, if you're a fan and you're not donating to NIL or you're not donating to the athletic, club or whatever it is that you have, then you can't complain about performance on the field. But man, you know what? Yeah, I'm getting tired of us asking fans to fund every damn thing. How much does it cost a family of 5, Jim?
We're losing you for a second, but I think what he was going to ask me is, how much does it cost for a family of 5 to go to a Middle Tennessee game? And I can tell you, I could easily, as a former player, go and be like, hey, I want free tickets, but I don't, because I want to support the athletic department. I want to support my university. So I buy season tickets, I donate and I buy, and for 5 tickets to one game, plus food, plus drinks, plus snacks, gonna tailgate. Like, I'm in the hole easily a couple $100. Easy. If I did that 6 times a year, I mean, that's over $1,000. You're probably creeping up, close to $2,000 at that point when it's all said and done. Because, you go to the game, they want to eat. They want a hot dog, French fries. I'm definitely going to get a cold beer. Then you got ice cream. Then you got, souvenir. Like, it just keeps going, especially when you got a kid. So, I mean, family of 5 if I just went to one, I mean, you're looking at $150 easy, probably closer to 200 when it's all said and done.
Yeah. And then you might go to an away game, might go to a bowl game. And again, if you're a playoff team, you're going to go to a conference championship game. You're going to go to multiple bowl games. And then on top of that, we got to come out there and ask for money for NIL to fund the roster to get there. And you know what it reminds me of, Jeff? I'm about to get on my soapbox here. It reminds me of the American government. We can't manage our spending. So you know what? Let's tax average Joe. Let's tax the consumer. Let's raise the prices on everything. Put it all on the consumer because we can't manage a budget. We got to pay a quarterback $8 million or something ridiculous, and yet we're asking for more from the fan. And again, I think coaches earn their salaries. I get it. It's coming from a different pool of money and all that stuff. I get it. It's like, I don't know, man. We got coaches making $8-9 million a year. We got players making that, but you want the guy that makes $50K a year to fund all of that? Get out of here.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So as I've on the journey of going deeper down the rabbit hole at Middle Tennessee and figuring out why we've had such inaction over the last decade, and becoming part of Raiders Rising, which is the NIL collective board at Middle, trying to get that going. I think we going on a year now. So we started the thing in like spring of last year. So the first year was figuring out a lot of the space, talking to a lot of different people in the space, right? And I think you're going to see a shift away from that. I at least I think that needs to be the plan, because you can't keep hitting up the same people over and over again. And for the amount of money that a roster costs to be competitive in college football. I mean, Boise State last year, from reports, $2.8 million is what it costs. That's what they spent last year. It's going to be more this year. The market of everything is being driven up. So now for people that want to contribute to an NO collective, absolutely. Come on. But in our case at Middle, there ain't a ton of fans to go out and ask. Like, let's be honest. The fan base has been split. A lot of them have just washed their hands with it. And we're slowly trying to get that back. I think we can be the driving force of continuity. At least that's what I believe in, right? So we'll get some of those people back. But to get $3 to $5 million a year for a roster, that's not going to come from private. That's going to be corporate dollars. And I think you're going to see more and more of people going out and trying to get $34 million from FedEx. In Middle's case, you have, in Middle Tennessee, you have tons of companies that get students from Middle Tennessee. We have a great aerospace program, great concrete program, engineering program. Like, we have all these great business and different departments at the school that graduate students that put them in jobs in Middle Tennessee and around the country as well. It's like, at some point, leadership at the university, if you value athletics, because I can go out and talk to a company, but I'm a sandwich. I'm a deli owner in Middle Tennessee, and I played football. Yeah, I can go talk to certain companies based off my personal relationships. But the athletic director, the president of the university, who's in charge of it all, they're the ones that need to be going out and getting $1 million corporate sponsorships. Like, if you deem athletics important and you see the overall value of athletics, if it's the front porch and it's gonna grow your university, and you admit that, and you say you understand that, like, it's got to be on you to go and work these relationships, because you're the one that's in touch with the CEO at a Fortune 500 company. You know what I mean? So, like,
yeah,
I think you're going to see the shift away from people trying to put the burden at the feet of, like, individual people. Like, again, don't get me wrong. I think when you add it all up, like, that's definitely a huge factor into funding a roster, because let's not mince words here. Like, that's what we got to do now. You have to fund your roster, and starting in July, you have revenue sharing. So it's going to be a big portion. So that's going to come from in-house. Now you can take money within the athletic department budget and pay your players. And that gets into the weeds, and I'm still researching that. But I think you're slowly going to get away from asking individuals for tons of money, because it's not sustainable, especially in the economy that we live in. I don't know. Sorry, I got long-winded, but
no. Oh, I hope so. And then the other part of this conversation, of course, is our good friends. Really stand up, integrity-filled folks down at these NIL agencies, Jeff. But over the last week, I'm sure he's not the only one, but that guy, guy Noah is getting smoked on Twitters right now.
He wouldn't think so if you asked him.
No. Yeah. I was talking to Pat that we had on a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind sharing this, but we were just kind of talking about, like, it's so obvious to me and you and people that listen to our show and that follow our account and stuff like that. It's so clear. It's so obvious that it's fraudulent. But you were talking, he's like, yeah, but you're 18 and it's Lil Wayne. It's a private jet, rented sports cars, like flashy jewelry. And I'm just thinking, like, yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like at that age, I would have been like, yeah, cool, but I still think you're a fraud, or I guess, like we always talk about, like we've been talking about with this transfer portal and NIL in general, is you've got to have somebody in your corner that has your best interest in mind, whether that's a parent, a friend, a coach, somebody, because these guys don't. They just don't. They're it's just selfish ambition with what they're doing. And I don't want to, like, really, like, crush the guy's character, because I don't know the guy. I've never talked to the guy. But I don't know, man. It really like strikes me as somebody who, like, always wanted to be the cool kid and never could because whether like not good enough at sports, not funny enough, whatever, all the things, right? Go back to high school, right? Who are the cool kids? Really good looking guy, the jock. I don't know what it is now. Maybe it's neither of those. Like 21 Jump Street. It's not that anymore. but then it strikes me as somebody who like is using this dad's money or whatever or connections to like get in this circle, and it's fraudulent, man. It just is. It's like the, I don't know, dude. It's like the friend that's got the parents have a mansion in high school and nobody really likes the kid, but parents have a mansion, so all the good parties are at their house. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
That's what it kind of reminds me of. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and Pat, when we had him on, talked about it. Like whenever you have like NIL agent in your title, it means you're fairly new to the space, and there's no barriers to entry. That to me, that's the problem, or a big problem. There's a lot of problems. The market that's been created has driven people, and when you don't have barriers to entry, like anybody can do it, and anybody can represent somebody and get a contract created, and you get them to kids to sign it who all they can see is the dollar amount. So it just invites like shady business, because if you got to pass a test or you got to fill out, you got to have certain prerequisites, it's going to eliminate a lot of the riffraff. So they're going to have to figure again something out with somebody in a position of leadership, whoever that is. Doesn't seem to be the NCAA anymore. They can't win a freaking court case to save their life, so they're just powerless basically at this point. Like somebody's going to have to come in and put regulations on a lot of this stuff. And this has got to be one of them. NFL agent, 3%. It's the max, it's the max that they can get out of a deal. There's certain things you got to, fill out and prerequisites and to become an agent. Whereas in college football right now, it's not there. So, you just see all these agents on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, and it's just, if I was a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid and some guy pulled up a private jet and a Ferrari or whatever and it's got all this money, it's like, and if that was my thing, I mean, it'd be hard. It'd be tempting,
Yeah.
They're telling you I can get you $5 million. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Well, yeah.
It's tough because a lot of these kids, like even my upbringing, like if somebody told me, like I'm very middle class, like didn't have money, still don't have money. Like
I heard that.
If somebody was like, hey, I can get you $3 million, you just got to get in the portal and go here. Dude, that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
So, and I was talking to my junior college coach, John Beam, shortly after the Fiesta Bowl, because we were talking about Marion McCoy and what his next step is, because the junior college thing with Pavia, he's going to have another year. Pretty sure he got granted another year. And we were talking about just his future. Should he stay at Boise? Should he go somewhere? And I'm like, well, he had a great year at Boise. I'm sure they're going to pay him a little bit more to stay in NIL. It's like, well, if he can go and get $500,000, $600,000 somewhere else, like that's a lot of money, especially if you don't think you have a shot to go to the NFL. It just puts a whole lot more pressure on a kid and their circle. It's tough, man. It really is.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Because that can be life-changing money. As somebody who started a business and knows the amount of money I put into it, like, dude, if I had $500,000 coming out of college, you can do a lot. You can do a lot with that. You can build a business with that. So
yeah. Well, I really hope all of these agents and advisors and whatnot are at least helping these kids with that. Like, hey, even though I recruited you with flash and fancy stuff, like, don't go spend all your money on this kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I doubt that's happening on the overwhelming scale.
I think it is. Well, what's funny too is like you go back to the days of us getting recruited, right? And every time, like, it certainly wasn't like that, but But all the coaches, when they got their little rental cars at the airport, they rented the nice one. You know what I mean? It came to the house and I say nice one, Chrysler 300, like a Tahoe, right? I mean, but they did. Funny enough, I remember a story because, as you know, Jeff, I worked for the Enterprise Rent-A-Car a long time.
I do.
When I worked in Florence, Alabama, at that location, the UNA, North Alabama football coaches would rent for big recruiting visits. And they basically had an intern or like a secretary that would book all their rental cars. Well, Florence, Alabama doesn't just have an infinite amount of luxury SUVs on their parking lot. You got a bunch of Nissan Altimas and Chevy Impalas in the parking lot. Well, I remember one Friday night, I'm working. I'm holding it down solo. It's like 4:30 p.m., about to close in an hour and a half. And I get a thing, comes over. UNA needs like 6 luxury SUVs to rent. So I say, hey, I say, hey, we ain't got them. I said, what do you need, passengers, or you need something nice? I said, I got a couple minivans up here, a couple GMC Acadias up here, Chevy Traverses up here. Well, naturally, none of the coaches called or whatever. So, and I don't know who those coaches were. I doubt they're still there, but they came up there and they were pissed that we didn't have nice stuff for them. And I remember having this. This is like 2017 probably. I remember having this conversation with like one of their coaches. I'm like, I mean, buddy, if you got to have a fancy rental car to recruit your kids, maybe your recruiting pitch needs to get a little better.
Yeah, no doubt. Like
maybe that's a big problem if the difference between you renting a Dodge Durango and a Chevy Tahoe is getting a recruit. Y'all got bigger fish to fry, buddy. And now here we are, and it's just at a larger scale. We're renting jet planes. We're renting Lamborghinis to recruit kids to come to our agency and then take 20% of their money. So it's very exciting stuff, Jeff.
It is.
It's my New Year's resolution to get to kind of like shut this stuff down. I want to burn the whole thing down, Jeff. Me and you, I know we've talked about it.
Break the wheel.
From NIL stuff to administrations and all the different things. I just want to, I don't know. I just want to get to the bottom of all of it and go back to
expose it all and, build a new world, Sprouse. That's what we want to do.
Yeah. Build a new world. What else you got in the new year as we move on to the show, Jeff, in the new year for college football? Give me and I didn't put this on the outline, so I apologize if you're not prepared for it, but, something in the sport, like from an on-field perspective, you'd like to see changed. I got a couple if you want me to go first.
No, I got one off the top of my head. We got to figure out what the hell targeting is.
That's number one.
I don't know anymore, and we got to make it clear. Like if we're gonna have the rule, and I think we should have the rule because there's clear like situations where intent was there. And you led with the head, you launched, like there's a criteria that they claim they use. And it can't be situational. It either is or it isn't. So clear up targeting. But I think that it should be like in basketball when you have a flagrant 1 and flagrant 2. I think it should be assessed on that basis. I think you can have targeting without intent of really seriously trying to injure somebody, or I don't want to say trying, but like a criteria for 1 and 2, because I think there's been plenty of situations where they call targeting, they review it, they confirm it. And the way the rule is written now is like, it's an automatic ejection. Now I think if it should be like targeting 1, it's less egregious. They get to stay in the game and then targeting 2 is like, you had all the criteria and it was very unsafe. You know what I mean? And then you're gone. That's what I think. I think that's the biggest, quickest, because games are getting decided over this. When you have a targeting play, like yes, it met the criteria of targeting, but it was a bang bang play, and a lot of it was caused because of the way the play developed or the hit developed, and now you throw out the starting middle linebacker or the starting safety. That affects the game. That is a huge blow to that defensive unit. And you've changed the dynamic of the game at them. It's 15 yards and your best player's out. Yep. So I think targeting.
Yeah.
Got to figure out what it is.
I like that too, with having the different levels to it. And I think you're right. I think the call right now, has become well, the hit was too hard. Like, because you see some where, like, yeah, they get smacked, but I don't know, it looks like a forearm to me. But it's based on, I'm not a scientist here, Jeff. It's based on physics and you know what I mean? It's not based on helmet to helmet. And then there's sometimes, I mean, hell, how many plays would they do get, especially like in the run game, when you get a running back and a linebacker that they both go crown of the helmet, nothing's called because it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing with targeting. And I know we can't do this because we can't make these officials' jobs harder, but I would like to see something like that with some other penalties too, because I think, like, we saw a big one last night. We saw a huge one in the Fiesta Bowl, but like hands to the face, there's penalties like that are so accidental. Like, they're literally a guy goes to block and goes to punch, and the D tackle, kind of hits their arm up and it goes up 1 inch. And now, instead of, being up under their shoulder pads and trying to push their shoulder pads into their neck, now their hands in their face, up under their chin. And now it's a 15-yard penalty, and now you take a touchdown off the board, and now Boise State loses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It happened last night too. Same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Happens a lot with like a face mask or like a horse collar. Like, the difference between a guy grabbing the back of a jersey and the back of the shoulder pad is a 15-yard penalty or not. And like, I know we can't do it. I'm not really advocating for it, but kinda, because a player going hands to the face off of a bang, defensive player makes a move, offensive player doesn't have time to reset his hands to the face, 15-yard penalty. To me, that can't be the same penalty as a guy 5 seconds after the whistle just laying somebody out as a clear as day cheap shot. That can't be the same penalty. And it is right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I wish we penalized dumb stuff more than bang stuff, right? Like a player, like stuff like that, like lay somebody out after the whistle. Like, that's stupid. That's a decision that you made that's dumb. You should be penalized. Bang play in between whistles where your hand grabs a face mask for a split second. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm ranting right now. What about off the field? I mean, I know we talk about this NIL stuff. For me, Jeff, off the field, I know they're wanting to, reset the playoff already. I know the Power Four is already wanting, all the control of championship formats and all the stuff that they're proposing. Who knows whether that happens or not, but I would still like to see the season. I think the season should be over. Again, as much as I love college football, I would much rather see games every single week from middle of August to New Year's than, you play Thanksgiving, then there's a couple games, then there's Army Navy, then there's 2 weeks off, then there's 4 games. You know what I mean? I would rather see bang games every week. I think people would be more engaged. I think you could utilize the holiday to allow for fans to go places that they might, hey, instead of going to grandma's for Christmas, we're going to the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
I think, and people would do that because they're already planning to spend the money and go on a trip and take time off of work. They would do it that way. And I think it's unfair for the fan, the way that they're doing it right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you got to figure out the schedule. It's got to be better. It's like, now I feel like each team has like 2 bye weeks when I feel like it used to always be 1. So there's a way to shorten this down a little bit. And if you got to, eliminate a game, I hate doing that, but if you have to, you have to start it earlier, take out a bye, figure it out. There's a way to do it. We're smart enough. I would hope we're smart enough. as a human race to figure out how to schedule college football.
We're a dumb bunch, Jeff.
We are a dumb bunch to get it done and have championship weekend on Thanksgiving. Be done with it, and then move on to bowls. And let's speed up the bowl process. Let's have more games, or if you got to eliminate some of the lower bowls, like I don't necessarily want to do that, but if that's what you got,
but at least when you have that's the best part about bowl season is you had bowl games every day.
Yeah,
and so you had a playoff. Let's say you have a playoff game on Christmas Eve, and then national championship game on New Year's Day. You're probably gonna have 2 or 3 bowl games in between.
Yeah,
hold you over. Now we're playing all these bowl games. The last one I think is the 26th, and then it's like, oh, now we got 1 game a week for
it's
a month. And then again, like we talked about this on the phone, is as much as I love college football, it's my favorite thing. And like I've gotten further away from the NFL. January is NFL playoff time. So now you avoid that clash that you have where, can't put a college football playoff game on Saturday because the mighty NFL is playing. So I don't know.
And it would help to aligning the transfer portal windows. Like you could adjust that, it would line up better with the academic calendar a little bit at least. And that was my other resolution off the field was we got to get the NIL transfer portal piece regulated. Has to happen. They're coming out with the $20.5 million in-house NIL cap that's supposed to start in July. That's why you're seeing all these teams dump a bunch of money, tons and tons of money at players, because none of the money that's being spent up until July counts towards the next year. So once you see that, teams are they're capped at $20 million. Now you can still have outside NIL to my knowledge of pretty much any number, and I'm curious to see how this goes. There's going to be an NIL clearinghouse. So deals, you get a deal for a kid, you have to put it through the clearinghouse. And if it's doesn't seem like legitimate or within market like standards of what all the deals should be, then they're going to deny that deal. So interested to see how that piece goes. So I think it's coming, but you got to also put regulations on the transfer portal because you've created free agency is what you've done, but there's no, term limits on whether a kid can leave or stay. Like there's none of that. So I'm fine with giving them 1 free transfer without their years, their 4 years or whatever it is, which I guess that's up for debate now too. How many, years they get, does the JUCO years count, all that stuff. But give them 1 free transfer, and if they transfer, they got to transfer down or sit out a year like it was before.
Well, here's the other thing. I thought the transfer portal had like this window. I thought it was over on December 28th, but didn't Carson Beck enter the transfer portal like yesterday?
I think it's like January 22nd.
See,
I think is when the
here's my closes. Here's my other thing. Why we need such a long window? Season ends New Year's Day. Coaches have their exit meetings with all their players the following week. Hey, here's what I want to do for you. Like, here's where I think you are on the depth chart. Here's where I think you could fit in. Here's where I think you can't fit in. NIL over here, revenue share over here. Here's how much money you're going to get. Okay, let me know end of the week. You get in the portal. We'll follow up next week with every single player on the team. You get in the portal or not? I don't know why you got to go from. I mean, we got guys entering the portal in week 3 apparently at UNLV. They are. So there's this window, but yet your people can enter it whenever they want anyway. You got all these makeshift rules in place that are just completely disregarded. I mean, it's just wild. It is just absolutely wild. But anyway, yeah, you end the season, New Year's Day, transfer portals 2 weeks after that. Semester starts the week after that. There you go. I mean, what's the decision? The decision's about money, right? So what are you weighing? This one's more than this one. That's what kids are doing, right? That's what your agent, that's where you're sending them, right, Noah? I mean, that's what we're doing. Anyway, What about all right, couple more, Jeff, and what about I got a couple New Year's goals for the group of 5 guys, Jeff. I'm sure you do too, but we gotta, and anybody listening, we gotta get. I love Decker Gray coffee. Okay, everybody knows we do this. By the way, use our code GOFG. I believe it's still we're in discussion. Right now because the season's over. That's how long our deal was. We gotta get the big time title sponsor to make this thing go. That's my New Year's resolution. Energy drink, beer, seltzer, liquor, whatever.
Yeah.
Private jet company.
I'm right there with you. I think that's the ultimate goal for this show is we want to do it, we want to do this full time. We want to be able to take this thing to heights it's never even been thought of. But the way to do it is we gotta find somebody who believes in the mission, understands the mission, number 1 and number 2, and wants to get behind it, And just shout out to all the listeners and viewers and supporters over the last 4 years. You guys have made this thing what it is, and we truly, truly appreciate you guys for all your support. It keeps us at it, man. And we want to give more and better coverage, more thorough coverage, and be able to do it like, the shows that the Josh Pates of the world and the big time guys that have huge platforms, and whether it's a media company that wants to work something out with us and get behind us and grow it, because there's a market for it. We see it. All of us are fans of the group of 5, and really get behind the group of 5 mission as a whole. So I agree. That's my number 1 New Year's resolution. And then obviously on the, show side for me, it's give our fans really the top-notch product to listen to view every time we get on here, whether it's visually, whether it's audio wise, and just build a top-notch show every time we come on here. That's my probably personal goal within the company, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it.
Get every coach on.
Yeah, that's a goal for us. Every single head coach.
Get every single head coach.
That might be, or a coach, I should say, because sometimes we might want the coordinator. You know what I mean? Sometimes the head coach is not going to be a great interview. You want
one coach from every program.
One coach from every program on.
Throughout the year.
That's a good goal. That starts now. We start planning that out. What about on a personal? I don't, whatever. If you got any, I know last year we talked about some of these. But you got any personal New Year's goals? I'm a big resolution guy, really, per se. I get a couple,
Yeah.
But
man, I got a bunch. I'm hoping this year is the best year yet for the Murphy family. Personally, like on my person's kind of, I'm 5 pounds down. I gained a little weight over the holidays, and us traveling towards the end of the year, tough, just crushed my diet, my consumption of food and drinks, but yeah, definitely dropped some weight. And then take my personal business to the next level. Really want to open up a second location of Domenico's Deli here in Murfreesboro. Thinks that's the next evolution. Getting ready to hit 5 years in business, Sprouse, here in a couple weeks. So it's been a crazy journey there. So I would say business wise, second location this year would be incredible and amazing. Physically, get back in the gym, which I've been doing, been dialing in the diet, not full carnivore, but pretty darn close to it since we got back from Arizona. And then, man, really been trying to get in the word, being married 11 years and being a father and husband and business owner and coach. It takes a toll on you mentally, physically, all the things. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, but just getting really dialed in with my faith, and because it's a grind from 4 a.m. when I wake up to do the show to probably lay my head down at 10:30, 11 o'clock, but the kids go to bed at about 8:30, and we don't really ever talk about this, but it's nonstop from the moment we wake up and kids go to bed, and then we got about an hour or 2 hours to spend with our wives, man, and you can't neglect that time. So without having a good foundation. And for me, it's my faith and just getting really dialed into that and being a good leader in the household, man. That's my probably big New Year's resolution.
That's big time stuff. I mean, I kind of echo all that stuff. Yeah, dude, the traveling, it's like, especially because it coincides with holidays a lot. Like that window from October to New Year's is like impossible to stay on track with like diet and working out and stuff like that. Cause you literally, like, for us, are like, we're surviving off energy drinks and hotel breakfast and continental breakfast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, you never like, I mean, I'd tell you, I've had the best couple days of sleep, like the last like 3 days, as I've had in a long time. That for me, I might sound stupid, but that for me is like a big thing. It's just actually going to bed, like quit looking at the phone at past a certain hour. But I tell you, dude, I'm on a so our church does a 21-day prayer and fasting to start the new year. Now, some of these people are madmen and they're like for real fasting, like
just water.
Whether it be I don't know. I'm sure some of them are doing like water only, but you know what I mean? Like they're not doing that, but they're doing, I don't know, eating like one meal. I don't know, but I have done it at a small level, and I've been not doing any like energy drinks which, you know me, I'm drinking 2 or 3 of those every day. So like, I'm not doing any of those, and I'm not doing any like entertainment outside of like watching football or like, so it's really hard for me because I'm looking at Twitter doing this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gotta pass that up. And then I'm like not listening to music or anything like that. So I think we're on day 7.
Getting some mental clarity in there.
Yeah, trying to, man. And a lot of it for me is like, in the morning, the church kind of gets together and does a prayer. And for me, with what's going on with my mom and stuff, we're trying everything, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And not that we haven't been praying and all that stuff, but kind of really trying to like, I mean, we got we got a big church, and my mom would kill me. I hope she doesn't listen to this show, but I told him, I got to pray. I got the whole prayer where I filled out the prayer request card. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man. And thoughts and prayers to Mama Sprouse, man. We're right behind you, and I know we've been praying. My family's been praying and praying for a full recovery.
Well, hey, let's get to. We got a voicemail.
We got one voicemail,
right? And by the way, we talked about the show earlier. We're gonna probably like play with some stuff the next couple months on like doing it in the evening, doing it in the morning, day of the week. We'll probably do one show a week. It's kind of where we're leaning, but it's probably going to be for a little bit. It might not be a consistent time. So you guys in the live chat, I know I've had a hell of a time doing this 6 a.m. live chat with everybody. It kind of gets me up and rolling every, 3 days a week. But we're trying to figure out what's going to be the best way to get our message out and get the most people on board with this chat. So we'll be playing with that, but we'll keep you posted via Twitter and those things. But anyway, let's get to that voicemail, 615-900-4286. Keep them coming.
Group of 5 guys, what's happening? Just finished y'all's Friday's episode, most recent one that came out. Loved it, by the way. Glad y'all had a good time. At the Fiesta Bowl, obviously we wish for a different result. I wish Boise could have gotten it done. Wish Genty could have gotten it done. But anyway, with the season coming to an end, just wanted to say thank you guys and for all that you do. On behalf of all the group of 5 guys, fans out there, thank you. Thank you for an unbelievable football season. Y'all go into 3 days a week now, and during the season is awesome. Thank you to y'all's, wife and children for, allowing y'all to do that, to bring people like me, enjoyment and excitement just to get, just to listen to a podcast and, or watch a podcast. So It means a lot to me, means a lot to all the other, group of 5 guys out there, or girls, group of 5 girls too. But just know that we all appreciate you guys and thank you for all that you do. Long live the group of 5. God bless the group of 5 guys. Hail Southern.
Appreciate you, Josh.
Old Josh B. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make their spring thing. The Gata Jam's early this year.
Yeah, it is. I saw that.
They're early March. We'll see. We'll see. We got a lot of things I would love to do, but a lot of things that are not realistic right now. But
spent a lot of money towards the end of the year.
Sure
Flights, hotels.
But anyway, hey, that is all we got for you guys on this Friday morning. I'm in Georgia and it's cold. We might have some flakes on the ground. I'm about to go check. We're supposed to. So y'all be careful on the roads. Here they don't have salt trucks. Or, if any Northerners are listening, like, oh, yeah, 1 inch. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but we don't prepare for it. Okay. It's like there's not a way around it. When it happens, we're stuck with it. But anyway, be careful on the roads. Be careful if you got to go into work. Any of that stuff, try to stay warm, stay dry, all of that. But
also, Sprouse, real quick, I got people and family member out in California and wanted to mention this earlier. Just thoughts and prayers to all the people in Southern California with the wildfires. It's crazy right now, man. People are losing their homes, businesses, churches, schools. So if you're listening, you're a West Coast person, we're thinking about you, and I hope you guys are staying safe.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll keep you posted on the socials on when the next show will be for next week. But in the meantime, you guys have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the 2 games left of college football season. One tonight and then one, I don't know when, 2 weeks after that, they're probably going to play again. Just in time for us to lose interest and forget college football season and get real wrapped into NFL. Anyway, I've already done that rant. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of 5 Guys, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most important thing you could do, share it with your family and friends. Spread the word. Long live the Group of 5. God bless the Group of 5 Guys. Have a great weekend.